Have you ever wondered why our lives seem to run in weekly cycles? Inside each of us, there's an internal clock quietly ticking, a rhythm of 7 days that science observes but can't fully explain. From the beating of your heart to the ebb and flow of hormones, your body keeps time in surprising ways. In fact, as one biologist noted, time is embedded in our genes. It's not just daily rhythms, like sleeping at night and waking by day. There's also a 7-day cycle programmed into our biology. Could it be that this weekly rhythm was set by design? Think about it. Many creatures and even plants follow a 7-day pattern without any calendars or alarms. For research in chronobiology, the study of biological clocks has found these circaseptan rhythms, meaning about 7 days, in all kinds of life, including humans. These weekly rhythms keep going even when we're cut off from external cues, indicating they're built into us by nature, not just learned. It's amazing. Why would nearly every living thing operate on a weekly timetable? Some scientists suggest there's even a biological need for rest on the 7th day. Now this raises a provocative question. Who set the clock? The fact that our bodies run on a 7-day schedule, something no other celestial cycle, like day or month or year, can account for, hints at a higher purpose. It's as if an architect of time programmed us to benefit from a weekly rhythm. Our ancient instincts remember a cycle that modern science is just beginning to understand. Is it merely coincidence, or is it part of a divine plan? By the end of this journey, you might agree that this internal 7-day clock was indeed set by God for our physical, emotional, and spiritual blessing. But first, let's explore where this 7-day cycle comes from. Divine design, the origin of the 7-day cycle. Why do we even have a 7-day week? Unlike the day from Earth's rotation or the year from Earth's orbit, the week has no obvious natural origin. Yet almost every culture on Earth observes a week of 7 days. The origin of the 7-day cycle points straight back to the very beginning of time, to creation. The Bible's book of Genesis describes God creating the world in 6 days, then establishing the 7th day as a special day of rest. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it. According to Scripture, God himself set the first weekly clock, building a cycle of work and rest into the fabric of creation. Every week since has echoed that first week ordained by God. This idea isn't just religious, it's woven into human language and history. In over 100 languages, the name for the 7th day, Saturday, is derived from Sabbath, meaning rest. For example, in Spanish, the word for Saturday is sábado, in Russian subota, and in Italian sabato, all coming from the Hebrew word for rest. How remarkable that across cultures and centuries people remembered that the 7th day is meant for rest. This linguistic evidence whispers that a long, long time ago, humanity knew about the sacred 7th-day rest. It traces back to creation itself, when God blessed and sanctified the 7th day. Long before Sinai, the Hebrews already observed it as a sacred rest, a weekly gift of peace, established by the Creator. They understood that every 7th day was a gift of repose, established by the Creator. History even shows what happens when we tinker with this divine design. During the French Revolution, leaders tried to change the week to 10 days in an attempt to erase religious influence. The result? It was a disaster. Workers became exhausted and never adjusted. After about 12 years, France had to abandon the experiment. It turns out humans need that 7th-day rest, just as God originally arranged. The 7-day rhythm endures because it was God's idea from the start. In the Bible, God calls the Sabbath a sign forever of his creation order. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. Isn't it beautiful? The weekly cycle is divinely designed, a rhythm intentionally set to bless us with regular rest. Your immune system follows God's calendar. Here's something fascinating. Even your immune system seems to run on a weekly schedule. Modern research has noticed a roughly 7-day rhythm in immune function, a cycle that lines up with the very weekly rest God gave us. For example, studies show that certain immune markers, the substances your body uses to fight illness, spike after a full day of rest. It's as if your body's defenses get a boost when you honor a rest day. In hospitals, doctors have observed a 7-day pattern in healing. Swelling after surgery tends to peak around the 7th day, and even the risk of organ transplant rejection is highest on days 7 and 14. Our biology literally operates on God's calendar. Think about that. Our Creator built a weekly tune-up into our physiology. When you take a Sabbath rest, you're not just doing something pious. You're syncing with your immune system's needs. One clinical observation noted that people who observe a regular day of rest recover faster after medical procedures. Why? Resting helps lower stress hormones and calm the heart, giving your body a chance to repair itself. Conversely, when we ignore rest, our immune system can get out of rhythm. Ever feel like you come down with a cold after pushing yourself too hard for too long? It's not a coincidence. Lack of rest can weaken your defenses. God's command to rest every 7 days isn't arbitrary, it's an act of love, even on a cellular level. He knows we need regular pauses to restore our immune strength. Imagine your immune system as an army. Even the best army needs rest and regrouping. The weekly Sabbath is like boot camp for your immune cells, a time when they regroup and get ready to protect you in the coming week. By following God's rhythm of work and rest, you give your body a pattern it craves, one that scientific studies are finally catching up to. Our healthiest, strongest selves emerge when we live in harmony with God's 7-day design. How amazing that every antibody in your blood may be remembering the Sabbath in its own way. Cortisol, stress, and the Sabbath shield. We live in a high-pressure world and our bodies feel it. When you're stressed and overworked, one key hormone goes into overdrive. Cortisol, the stress hormone. Think of cortisol as your body's built-in alarm system, useful in emergencies but harmful if it blares non-stop. Chronic high cortisol can lead to anxiety, high blood pressure, lowered immunity, and burnout. Here's the good news. Observing the Sabbath is like putting up a shield against stress. When you truly rest on the 7th day, your cortisol levels drop, giving your body a chance to calm down and heal. A remarkable study from Loma Linda University, a leading health research center, found that during the 24-hour Sabbath period, people's cortisol levels were significantly lower than on workdays. It's as if the body knows this is rest time. Let's dial back the stress chemistry. Over a lifetime, this weekly lowering of cortisol is hugely protective. It's like hitting a reset button for your nerves and heart every 7 days. No wonder Sabbath keepers often report feeling recharged after the day of rest. In one survey of over 5,000 people, those who kept a Sabbath habit reported far less stress and anxiety than those who didn't. The data suggests that resting on God's day doesn't make you lazy, it makes you resilient. Physiologically, what's happening is profound. Lower stress hormones mean lower inflammation, healthier blood pressure, and better mood. It's like Sabbath rest puts a protective shield around your health, fending off the burnout that comes from constant toil. Imagine carrying an umbrella in a storm. The Sabbath is that umbrella for the storm of stress. It won't stop challenges from coming, but it will protect you from being drenched in stress hormones. Each week, as you set aside work and worry to embrace peace, you're giving your body a chance to breathe and reset. In a very real sense, resting is trusting. Trusting that the world can go on without you for a day, and that you don't have to carry every burden non-stop. This trust and obedience to the call of rest create a biochemical Sabbath shield, lowering cortisol and raising your sense of shalom, peace, and wholeness. Do you need a break from stress? The Sabbath might be the shield you're looking for. Longevity, happiness, and the blue zone secret. What if one day could add years to your life? It might sound incredible, but the evidence is mounting that those who practice a weekly day of rest live healthier and longer. One of the best examples comes from Loma Linda, California, a community known as a blue zone where people routinely live into their 90s and beyond in good health. Researchers have identified Loma Linda's secrets of longevity, and among the top factors is their habit of keeping the Sabbath. Loma Linda is home to many Sabbath keepers, and on average they enjoy about 10 extra years of life compared to the typical American. Weekly rest, disconnecting from work and spending time with family, faith, and rejuvenation is literally part of their longevity recipe. But it's not just about living longer. it's about living better. People who honor a day of rest often report higher levels of life satisfaction and happiness. When you regularly pause to appreciate life, connect with loved ones, and commune with God, it nurtures a sense of joy and gratitude that constant busyness can steal away. In studies of Sabbath-keeping communities, individuals show better mental health and mood overall. They have lower rates of depression and anxiety, likely because the rhythm of rest helps break the cycle of chronic stress, as we saw with cortisol, and provide space to reset emotionally. It's like taking a mini vacation every week for your soul. Who wouldn't be happier with that? Even secular wellness experts now tout the idea of unplugging one day a week. Around the world, more people are discovering what our Creator knew from the start. Regular rest leads to a happier, healthier life. In those Blue Zone studies, along with diet and exercise, having a weekly Sabbath stands out as a common practice, contributing to remarkable vitality and longevity. Think of Sabbath as God's built-in life extension plan, not only adding years to your life, but life to your years. By resting, rejoicing, and recharging one day in 7, you allow your mind and body to operate at their best the other 6 days. The result is often a longer life and a more joyful, contented life. Truly, embracing God's rest makes life sweeter and longer. A secret that's been in the Bible all along, now confirmed by modern observation. Would you trade one day for 10 extra years? It appears that those who do are reaping that reward. The rest that rebuilds the brain. Your brain is an amazing organ. It works around the clock, handling decisions, emotions, and memories. But without rest, the brain starts to sputter. Ever feel foggy after pulling an all-nighter or working too many days straight? That's because the brain hasn't had its maintenance time. Proper rest actually rewires your brain for the better, and the Sabbath is a crucial part of that repair cycle. During deep rest, especially sleep, neurons reset and repair themselves, literally cleaning out toxins and reinforcing connections. During the weekly Sabbath, when you step back from work stress, your brain gets a chance to recover from constant stimulation and restore mental clarity. Science vividly illustrates this. When we don't rest, our frontal lobe, the brain's decision-making and focus center, starts to shut down. We experience memory troubles and reduced concentration. In extreme fatigue, the brain even slips into brief microsleeps. Seconds of lapsing that can be dangerous, for example, dozing off at the wheel. No wonder chronic lack of rest is linked to higher risk of depression and mood disorders. It's like running an engine with no oil. Eventually things break down. Now consider the Sabbath. It's like a weekly oil change for your mind. You pause the regular grind, which allows your brain to process, organize, and heal. Many people find that after a restful Sabbath, their thoughts are sharper and mood brighter. That's your brain thanking you for the rest. In fact, research shows that when we honor healthy rest patterns, we see improvements in memory, learning, judgment, and emotional stability. One study of Sabbath observers found better mental health and resilience in those who truly unplugged on that day. Plenty of rest, including nightly sleep and a weekly rest day, results in better memory and learning. During rest, the brain consolidates memories and skills, so you remember more and perform better. Sharper focus and judgment. A rested mind can pay attention and make sound decisions, whereas fatigue makes us distractible. Improved mood and emotional control. Rest acts like a reset for our emotional circuits. With adequate rest, we're less irritable and can manage our feelings. With sleep loss, emotions can run wild. In short, rest rebuilds your brain. The Sabbath provides time for activities that rejuvenate the mind, perhaps a nature walk, meaningful prayer, reading, or simply quiet. These are not wasted hours. They are healing hours. God designed the mind to flourish with regular periods of calm. Even Jesus told his disciples, "Come ye yourselves apart and rest a while," because so many were coming and going that they barely had time to eat. If Jesus emphasized mental and physical rest, shouldn't we? By embracing the Sabbath rest, you give your brain the gift of balance and renewal. Over time, this weekly mental reset can rewire your neural pathways toward peace, patience, and positivity. It's like taking your brain to the spa once a week. It comes out refreshed and ready to face the world anew. Physical benefits. From inflammation to energy, rest isn't just good for the soul and mind, it's a powerful medicine for the body. When you consistently lack rest, you might notice aches, low energy, or getting sick easily. That's because your body hasn't had time to repair. Conversely, when you do rest, especially in the regular rhythm of nightly sleep and weekly Sabbath pauses, the physical benefits are enormous. For one, rest helps reduce inflammation in the body. Inflammation is a root cause of many diseases, from heart disease to diabetes, and stress plus overwork fuel it. But during restful periods, stress hormones drop and your tissues have a chance to heal, lowering the inflammatory fire. It's as if taking a Sabbath is like applying a soothing balm to the inside of your body, cooling down inflammation that would otherwise build up. Regular rest also contributes to a healthy heart and metabolism. People who get enough sleep and observe restful breaks tend to have lower blood pressure and healthier cholesterol levels. Your heart literally takes a breather. Studies even suggest that adequate rest can prevent heart rhythm problems and decrease risk of heart disease. And what about energy? It sounds ironic, but rest gives you more energy. When you honor rest, you'll likely find you feel more energetic and vibrant during the week. God designed us like rechargeable batteries. We must unplug for a while if we want to run strong later. Sabbath keepers often testify that after unplugging on the seventh day, they bounce back on day one with renewed vigor. Consider also how rest affects weight and fitness. When we're sleep deprived or never take downtime, our hormones get imbalanced. Appetite hormones like ghrelin and leptin go haywire, making us crave junk food at odd hours. Indeed, lack of rest is linked to weight gain and obesity. On the flip side, proper rest helps regulate these hormones so we make healthier choices and maintain a fitter body. In children and teens, those who get adequate rest even tend to perform better in school and have improved growth and immune strength. All signs of a body thriving. Let's list some physical perks of getting your rest daily and weekly. Stronger immunity. Your immune system fights viruses and heals wounds more effectively when you are rested. Remember the weekly immune boost we discussed. Lower inflammation. Rest days and good sleep. Lower inflammatory markers, reducing long-term disease risk. Better heart health. Regular rest can lower stress on the heart, reducing blood pressure and stabilizing heart rhythms. More energy. Instead of running on fumes, you refuel. Many notice they no longer rely on caffeine or sugar to keep going after observing a rejuvenating Sabbath. Healthy weight and metabolism. Rest helps balance hormones that control hunger, reducing late-night cravings and helping maintain a healthy weight. Longevity. As we saw in Blue Zones, those who practice weekly rest often live longer, healthier lives. In essence, rest is sacred biology. God built our bodies to respond positively to rest. When you take time to sleep at night and truly rest one day a week, you're not being lazy. You're giving your body exactly what it needs to function at its best. From the cellular level up to the whole system, your body uses rest to repair muscles, rejuvenate organs, and even slow the aging process. It's no wonder that God said the seventh day is blessed. It comes with built-in physical blessings for those who embrace it. So the next time you enjoy a peaceful Sabbath afternoon or a good night's sleep, remember your body thanks you. It's getting stronger, healthier, and more energetic, all because you chose to honor the way your Creator designed you. The spiritual architecture of rest. Up to now, we've seen how rest heals the body and mind, but there's another dimension. The spiritual side of rest. We humans aren't just physical machines. We have hearts that hunger for meaning, connection, and hope. Interestingly, when our bodies and minds are rested, it opens the door for spiritual growth. That's part of the architecture of the Sabbath rest. It's designed to give us time and space to connect with God and the things that truly matter. When God set apart the seventh day, He sanctified it, meaning He made it holy, a time for sacred purpose. The Sabbath is like a cathedral in time, a weekly sanctuary where our souls can breathe. Notice how when you're exhausted or overbusy, it's hard to pray or think about higher things. But when you pause and rest, your mind clears and your heart becomes more receptive. The Bible tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. In the stillness of Sabbath rest, we can hear God's voice more clearly through Scripture, nature, and reflection. By stepping away from the noise of work and commerce, we create a quiet in which our spirituality can flourish. Many who keep a Sabbath say it's their time to recharge spiritually, reading inspiring texts, praying deeply, or simply contemplating life with gratitude. It's no wonder Jesus often went to quiet places on the Sabbath to teach and heal, focusing on restoration. The Sabbath is part of the spiritual architecture of life, supporting our relationship with the Creator. Moreover, rest strengthens our moral and spiritual decision-making. When we are rested, we have better self-control and patience. By contrast, fatigue can make us irritable and more vulnerable to temptation. God wants us to enter each new week recentered on what is right and good. The Sabbath provides that reset. It reminds us that we are not self-sufficient. We depend on God for life and breath. Each week when we rest, we are acting out trust in God. We say, "Lord, you are in control, not me. I pause my labors to honor you." This act of faith deepens our spiritual life. The Bible calls the Sabbath a sign between God and His people, Ezekiel 20:12, a special appointment where God promises to draw near. In keeping it, we receive not only physical refreshment but a spiritual blessing of holiness. Finally, consider how the Sabbath connects us in relationships, another spiritual aspect. It's a day to bond with family, encourage friends, and help others without the rush of our weekday schedules. Jesus emphasized doing good on the Sabbath, acts of kindness and worship. In our busy world, dedicating time to family meals, nature walks, heartfelt conversations, and congregational worship on the Sabbath enriches our souls. It's like watering a garden. Relationships and faith flourish when given regular rest and attention. In this way, the Sabbath is architected for our spiritual well-being, a recurring reminder of God's love, a foretaste of the ultimate rest and peace we'll have in eternity. Every seventh day, we step back and remember who we are, children of God, not mere cogs in a machine, and we let Him rebuild us from the inside out. Have you felt that inner peace when you take time for God and loved ones? That's the spiritual rest God wants for you. Relaxation is not laziness, it's sacred biology. In a culture that constantly preaches go, 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 taking time to relax can feel wrong, even guilty. But here's a freeing truth. Relaxation is not laziness. It's part of sacred biology and divine command. There's a big difference between idleness and intentional rest. God Himself worked in creation 6 days and then paused, setting an example that rest is holy. When we relax in the right way, we're actually cooperating with how we were designed. Far from being unproductive, the right kind of downtime makes us more productive and creative in the long run. As Scientific American put it, downtime replenishes the brain's stores of attention and motivation, encourages productivity and creativity, and is essential to achieve our highest levels of performance and to form stable memories in everyday life. In other words, resting empowers you to function at your peak. Imagine your brain as a muscle. It cannot lift heavy weights, mental tasks, endlessly without breaks. The Sabbath and other rest periods are like giving your brain and body a chance to stretch, breathe, and recover. Far from laziness, this is wisdom. Even the most advanced machines need cooling periods. How much more living beings made of flesh and bone? God built relaxation circuits into our physiology. For example, when you take a quiet walk or nap, your brain's default mode network lights up. That's when you have aha moments or solve problems subconsciously. Ever notice you often get your best ideas in the shower or on an evening stroll? That's the sacred biology of rest at work. Your brain needs that off time to connect dots and refresh. So when the Sabbath invites you to cease labor, it's not stealing productivity. It's enhancing your overall productivity by preventing burnout and fostering insight. We must unlearn the notion that if I'm not busy, I'm not valuable. That's a societal lie. God values you for who you are, not just for your work. By commanding rest, He liberates us from the tyranny of constant labor. In fact, regularly scheduled relaxation is an act of trust and humility. It's saying, I am not the one who keeps the world turning. God is. I can rest. Such relaxation is deeply spiritual. It acknowledges our human limits and God's providence. When you relax on the Sabbath, maybe enjoying a peaceful hour in nature or reading with your phone off, you're essentially obeying a holy order to recharge. It takes strength of character to step back when everyone else speeds by, but doing so brings balance. As Jesus told his overworked disciples, "Come aside and rest a while," we also hear him telling us that resting at the right time is part of his will. So let's reclaim relaxation as a gift, not a flaw. Think of the Sabbath as a weekly pit stop in the race of life. The car that never pits may briefly lead, but it will crash or break down before the finish. The one that stops for fuel and tire changes finishes strong. You are that car, and Sabbath is your pit stop. Taking a Sabbath doesn't mean you lack drive. It means you have the drive to finish well. In fact, those who rest on Sabbath often find the other 6 days become more fruitful and focused because their body, mind, and spirit have been realigned. Relaxation is sacred. It's how we honor the way God made us. Next time you rest, remember, you're not being lazy. You're obeying the natural and divine law of rest, written in your cells and inscribed in Scripture. A lost art, a forgotten gift. In ages past, people understood the rhythm of work and rest much better than we do today. Resting was an art. Families gathered on the Sabbath, streets grew quiet, and everyone knew that time with God and loved ones was the priority of the day. That weekly pause was cherished as a gift from God. Fast forward to now, the world seems to run 24/7. Many have forgotten the gift of the Sabbath. Saturdays that used to be reserved for rest and worship might now feel like just another day to catch up on errands or work. The result? We have a society where 1 in 3 people don't get enough sleep, and burnout is rampant. By chasing productivity non-stop, we've actually become less productive and less happy. The ancient art of truly resting, disconnecting from work, social media, and the rat race, is something we desperately need to rediscover. Look at our hurried culture. Phones ping constantly, emails never stop, and the pressure to hustle every day is intense. Many folks work through weekends or never take a real day off. It's like trying to play beautiful music without ever pausing. Eventually, it's just noise. We've lost the pauses, the rests in life's symphony. But here's the hopeful part. A rest revival is possible. We can relearn this lost art by embracing the Sabbath as the forgotten gift it is. Remember, God didn't need to rest when He created the world, but He did, for our sake, to set a pattern. He blessed and sanctified the seventh day, Genesis 2:3, specifically as a gift to humanity. Jesus said, "The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. It was made for our benefit." That means God intended us to unplug and enjoy it. If society has largely forgotten, you don't have to. By choosing to keep the Sabbath, you are reclaiming a treasure that was always meant for you. There's something quietly radical about resting in a restless world. It's almost a form of resistance. Resisting the notion that our worth comes from ceaseless doing. Resisting the culture of burnout. In recent times, even secular movements talk about the resistance of rest, pushing back against social injustices and exhaustion by daring to rest. Long before these conversations, God wove that idea into the fourth commandment. To rest one day in 7 is to say, "I am free. I am not a slave to work or achievement." In the Bible, when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, they had no rest. One of the first things God did after freeing them was to re-give them the Sabbath command so they would never live as slaves again. Deuteronomy 5:15. Today we might be enslaved by busy schedules or material pursuits, but by honoring the Sabbath we break those chains. We practice the freedom of saying no to constant labor. What a gift that is, one that many have forgotten, but you can choose to remember. Think of Sabbath as an old, beautiful practice waiting to be revived in your life. Say a prayer, turn off the phone, and relish the quiet. It may feel unfamiliar at first, like meeting a long-lost friend, but soon you'll wonder how you lived without it. The world may have largely lost this art, but you can be a keeper of the flame. By resting, you're keeping an ancient promise alive and receiving a present-day blessing. The gift of rest is still there, ready to open every week. It costs nothing, but it yields rich rewards. In a sense, resting is an act of faith and courage now. But as you do, you join countless others through history who found that when they kept the Sabbath kept them. It kept them sane, healthy, and connected to what truly matters. Don't let this priceless gift stay forgotten on the shelf. Take it, open it, and enjoy the rest that has been waiting for you all along. In a world that never stops, choosing to rest is a revolutionary act. It's saying, I will not let this world squeeze every drop of life out of me. I will live by a higher rhythm. Rest is resistance. Resistance against burnout. Against a culture that prizes production over people. Against the idea that our value is only in what we do. By keeping the Sabbath, you're quietly rebelling against the modern tyranny of busyness. You're embracing grace over grind. Remember, each time you rest in God's appointed way, you declare, I trust you, Lord. You are in control, so I can pause. That trust is a powerful stance. It restores balance in your life and sends a message to those around you that there's a better way to live. As we conclude this journey through the physical, emotional, and spiritual power of Sabbath rest, take a moment to imagine what your life could look like if you truly adopted this gift. Picture having one day every week where you wake up without rush, grateful to have time to breathe, to hug your family, to walk outside and notice the beauty of creation, to read words that uplift your soul, to laugh, to nap, to worship. How would that change the other 6 days? Likely you'd find yourself less stressed, more focused, healthier, and more hopeful. You'd carry a piece of Sabbath peace into your work and challenges. That is the genius of God's plan. The Sabbath rest fuels us to live abundantly the rest of the week. It's resistance in the sense that it breaks the cycle of incessant toil, and it's also renewal, empowering you to re-enter the cycle of work with strength and joy. So I invite you, reclaim your rest. It's not a burden, it's a blessing. The clock inside you was set by God. Tune into His timing and experience the difference. Make a decision to slow down when the seventh day arrives, and see how your body heals, your mind clears, and your spirit sings. In doing so, you join a legacy stretching back to Eden. You'll discover, as Jesus promised, I will give you rest, true rest that the world can't take away. In the end, rest is an act of faith, love, and defiance. Faith in God's care, love for yourself and others, and defiance of anything that dehumanizes us. Let rest be your protest and your refuge. As you step into this new rhythm, remember that you're not alone. Many are rediscovering the power of the Sabbath. It's time to let this deeply emotional, conversational, and spiritually impactful story become your story. Embrace rest as resistance, and watch what God will rebuild in your life during those sacred hours of peace. He is the giver of true rest, and He's waiting for you each week on that day He sanctified for your sake. Will you meet Him there? Take a deep breath, dear friend. The sun is setting on the week, and a holy time is beginning. Welcome the Sabbath and its gifts into your life. Rest, resist, and be renewed. If you've made it this far, I invite you to affirm this journey. Leave a comment below saying, I choose rest. Rest is not just a pause in the week, it's a pathway to a fuller, richer life. I choose rest. Do you? Watch our next video. This is why Satan hates the Sabbath. We expose the spiritual war behind the scenes. Discover why the enemy has worked so hard to erase this sacred day, and what it reveals about the final conflict in Earth's history. Because knowing the blessing is only half the story. The battle begins here. Real quick, now you can engage even more and support this channel by becoming a member. Becoming a member unlocks amazing resources and helps you connect even deeper. Get access to every image I use, perfect for your wallpaper, studies, or presentations. Need a custom visual for a study group or a Bible verse that speaks to you? I'll design it. And members get to suggest entire video topics they'd love to see explored. Honestly, this is about more than perks. It's your chance to directly shape the content and help me create videos that matter most to you. Check the description for details. Thanks so much for being part of this community. God bless.